Today on TFL Off-Road, you join me on the Overland Trail Tour, and we have to take a walk around of one of these vehicles, this one in particular. This is a 2020 Jeep Gladiator Rubicon that has been kitted out by the Director of Communications for the Overland Expo, Nick James. So, let's take a quick look at this Jeep, and let's talk to Nick about his build. How's it going, dude?
Good, man. How are you?
I'm doing pretty well, and I'm very excited to take a look around this because you've built out a really cool machine. So what did you start with? What were kind of your intentions when you were building this? And yeah, let's take a look at it.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks. Yeah, I got it in January 2020, not long after these had come out, and I'd been a Land Cruiser guy for years and years, but I was ready for something more modern but super capable. There was nothing better on the market than this, and I don't think there still is, still top of the heap. Done a lot to it, though, with the goals of really being able to get to the most remote, toughest places in North America, up into Canada, down to Baja, you name it. For better or worse, I mean, a lot of my friends in their vehicles can't really handle all the places I go, but...
Well, it certainly looks like it's kitted out to do quite a bit, so we'll kind of start at the front and work our way to the back. So I see you've obviously got a much more minimalist bumper set up here than what comes from the factory, big winch. What are all these parts?
Yeah, absolutely. So this is actually, a lot of the parts, as we talk about, have gone through a couple iterations. I did not start with this aftermarket bumper. I started off with the Bondi bumper, which is a full width bumper from ARB. But then when I put 37s on it, when I was really flexing, they were rubbing. So also when I had this Warren Xeon 10S Platinum winch was hidden behind the bumper. I like being able to see the rope. So went to the shorty bumper, saved some money, and also got the winch sitting up higher so I could see the rope all the time, which I really like. And it gives you that clearance up front. And
you've got some extra rigid lights on the front here.
Yep.
These are LED?
Yeah, absolutely, yep. I don't know what model, I don't remember anymore, but they light up the road pretty well.
It's pretty cool because they're fairly classic looking. It doesn't look like the typical LED light. Yeah. And then I see you've also got an extra little skid plate down here.
Yeah, that's from my buddy at Indigo Metal Fab in Portland, Oregon. He fabbed that up for me because the factory skid plate for the ARB shorty bumper just did not cover the sway bar disconnect like I wanted it to.
And then I know also in terms of suspension, you're working with quite a bit.
Yeah, I've done a lot to the suspension. This is the current, obviously, setup. I've got TerraFlex Falcon 3.3s. They're the piggyback, fully adjustable shocks, and those are held up by Clayton Off-Road 2.5-inch springs at the front and rear.
Nice, and that also helps you carry around the extra load that you've got on the back, because obviously there's a lot more on this Jeep than what came from it from the factory.
Yeah.
Do you know all in round about how much weight has been added to this with the rooftop tents?
I do. If the truck scales are correct, I do. So from the factory, this sits at 5,050 pounds. With all my gear in it and all the stuff, as you see here, is 7,900 and change.
Okay.
I'm pushing over the gross vehicle weight rating. I've put cross-vented and drilled brake rotors up front to help, get some. I would like to upgrade the brakes in more than that, though, just so I'm not pushing too much weight and being unsafe. Before we get all the way to the back, though, I do want to talk about my Ace Engineering rock sliders. Those have been saviors, both on rocks and trees. Those use, rather than going to the frame, those go to the body mount bolts. They're like 9-inch bolts, and there's 3 of them, and it holds in there real nice. You get a lot of really great clearance, a lot of strength.
So you just pull out the body mount bolts and you replace them with a longer set.
No, it's that you just use them, go back in, and the plates that hold those in just sandwich in there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it goes like this much less into the body, but on the 9-inch bolts, it really doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Right, and then you got the platform rack up here because I wanted to be able to have the freedom panel still be able to come off. Like if you're gonna have a convertible pickup 4x4, you don't want to lose that. But I still needed some storage up there.
I also noticed you've got a much bigger set of wheels and tires, so tell me about the setup that you've got going on here.
Yeah, the wheels are the same 17-inch diameter, but they have a different offset, so they kick them out a little further. That allows you to get 37-inch tires on there, the General Grabber X3. I really like those, the second set I've had on vehicles. And yeah, the Method, or the 704s, they're lightweight, and they've got like a bead lock, but it's not regular. It's somewhere in between. It kind of grips the bead a little better, so you can go really low on your PSI. I've gone down to like 12 on these with no problem whatsoever.
Nice.
I'm really happy with that.
And I noticed a little bit of siping on the grabbers. Have you driven this in the snow any? How does it do?
Really, really good in the snow.
Really?
Yeah, you drop it down. I was probably about 15 in the snow, and I was dragging forerunners who were getting stuck. So, yeah, I'm really been proud with these.
I also noticed that your shock setup has it looks like pretty accessible adjustments on it.
Yep.
So, do you mess with that much? How have you noticed?
I mess with it in the front a bit because there's a stock amount of weight up front, except for the bumper and winch. But back here, it's so heavy loaded, I have it turned up all the way. There's 3 major settings and then 12 minor settings within each one of those. I've got it turned all the way up to each setting. So it's valve the stiffest it can be for this set.
Have you noticed those benefiting you adjusting it for different types of terrain, like washboard versus rock crawling? Or
yeah, actually out here, on the road, I have those turned up to 2 in the front, and then out here I have it turned down to 1. So we get a little bit more flex, a little bit more give to it. So it's not beating you up, especially when we air these down. I'm at 25 PSI right now, running at 38 on the highway. So it gives you just a little bit more cushion.
Nice. And then obviously we have to go through everything going on in the back here.
Yeah.
So we've got...
Should we go top down?
Yeah, we'll go top down. I like that.
Up here we got the Roof Nest Condor. I absolutely love this. It's a fold out. It's a 2.5 person tent. It's been with me on a ton of trips. This is actually, I was on my Land Cruiser before this, so this thing has bounced off a lot of trees and seen a lot of landscape. I really love that. Here I used to have a bed rack, but I had to, with gear pods and stuff, you had to really Tetris things into the back.
Right.
So instead I just went to the Alu-Cab metal reinforced canopy, obviously full of stuff because we've got 21 people on this trip right now.
Yeah, we're packing a lot of people into our campsite with a lot of different rigs. But it is nice to just be able to lean into the side of your topper, not have to climb over the tailgate in order to get at your stuff.
Yep.
And the construction is really, it looks really sturdy.
Tough. Yeah. Water and dust tight too, which is important. And then they got lights on either door. All 3 doors open up.
Yeah, that's super nice. Yeah. So underneath everything else going on here, do you have anything else in the bed, or is it just a standard
I have some
bed?
Molly panels which hold my shovel and my axe and fire extinguisher. There we go. I used to have a cargo glide in the back with the whale tail extension, but that weighed 270 pounds, and I started adding all this stuff. The back end was just getting lower and lower, and so I yanked that. But I did love it, and we'll have it back on another vehicle someday.
So when you were speccing out the suspension, did you do a different spring rate for the amount of weight that you figured you were going to be adding, or have you just made those adjustments in the shocks mostly?
Here's the issue right now. Nobody yet, other than AEV, and I don't know what those are rated to, nobody really has a constant heavy load spring for the Gladiator.
Okay.
Clayton is working on one and ARB are working on one, but nobody else has one on the market. The AEV one would probably get me a little bit better lift in the back than these, but I'm not going to spend $1,200 if it's not right.
Yeah.
So I'm waiting for the ARB ones or the Clayton that can hold 1,200 pounds constant heavy load. Once those come out, then I'll be jamming those in. But for right now, these are a little bit compressed.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So couple other cool things.
Yeah.
Number one, the steel bumper on the back. This is a really burly unit, and I like the bumpers a lot that wrap around the quarter. So what is the company of this? And we got to check out these swing outs too.
Yeah, this is Expedition 1. This is far and away the finest bumper you will find. For Jeep, Ram, I think make Toyotas. They are steel sourced in the United States, made in the United States by a United States company. Their finish and build quality is second to none. I really love all of the action on these. I mean, even the clasp series, you'll see the sound of them is burly. I mean, and then they swing out and they hold themselves. And all the parts that can fail are replaceably. You can replace them easily, like these little tangs there. But you've got your big recovery hooks. This has the Moab pack on it, which is how I have the 2 jerry cans, and then also the full-size spare on the back.
Right.
And then also another thing that was essential, it has the relocation for the rear cam, because I'm not having all this stuff blocking my view and not having the cam. And then I also have some lights. The name of the brand is I don't remember anymore. What brand is it?
Squadron
Sport. Yeah, but that's the model. I don't know what the brand is. It's in there somewhere. It's Oh, it's BD. I forget what that stands for, but
Yeah, this is a really cool looking bumper setup, and it's nice to have a good solid bumper on the Gladiator, because something that I've noticed about these is you definitely have a decent amount of rear overhang.
yeah.
And anything that you need a lot of departure angle on, Gladiator is definitely not foreign to scraping its butt.
Yeah.
Which, if you're taking anything straight on, obviously it's going to hit the hitch, but it's more than plausible to hit on the corners.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Has this bumper ever seen any rock or?
Oh,
just
for
the
sure.
hitch?
Yeah. I don't think you see any battle scars though, because the powder coating is real strong on these.
Nice.
So yeah, this has been really good. But I mean, it's so heavy. It's probably 370 pounds hanging out the back. So that's another reason I need heavier springs.
This is a way cool setup.
Oh,
so
thanks.
what else? Is there anything in terms of extra underbody protection that you've added?
No, because I'm probably pushing over 15 inches of ground clearance, and I've not found the need for any skid plates yet. I had a big full-length skid plate set on my Land Cruiser 100, but that was because you just couldn't get those that high off the ground. This has had no problems. I think we also skipped up front. I've got the ARB Safari snorkel.
Yeah.
So,
and how about either under the hood or?
we should. Well, the other side has got the fridge too. Well, so I also have ARB air compressor under the seat.
Oh, okay. I haven't seen that setup before.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. That's actually a really clean way to do that. I've seen people put their compressors under the hood, obviously. Yeah. But I haven't seen that unit under the seat. Is that a pretty common modification?
Yeah, that's actually a bracket they make for a Jeep JT. And also my CB radio there, and a bunch of little accessories too that other folks make, like Carolina Metal Masters. Got this ball here for, a ball mount for different accessories.
Right.
Like I said, they got the snorkel up front, and the newest edition. We'll step back around the other side. I'll show you my fridge. I'm real proud of that setup. That's in the back seat.
And how are you powering the fridge? Do you have any solar or just
no solar yet?
Battery?
But so this is the Goose Gear Tall 40% seat delete. Underneath that is a lithium-ion battery that's about the size of a car battery.
Really?
And then powering that, pulling off my alternator, is an Red Arc Manager.
Okay.
And so that will only draw power and recharge when it really turns off nicely between the lithium and the alternator. But that runs my Dometic. I have this on 24/7, but I can control it. It's the Dometic CFX 35 or 55 IM. So it's got Bluetooth, so I can control all of it from my phone.
So how much does that lithium battery setup cost?
Because the battery itself is $1,000, and then the manager is like $280, and then the seat delete was probably $700, and then this is $1,200. So, you're putting like $4,000 or $5,000 sitting right here?
It's definitely not a cheap way to go, but at the same time, I mean, being able to keep food for a long time is a big part of what's going to allow you to stay out in the wilderness for a long time.
Yeah.
Now, something I've heard you mention a couple times, and which I don't doubt, is that a lot of times when you take this with your buddies to go overlanding, camping, anything, you said they make fun of how much gear you have, but then they're all very thankful when all of this stuff comes in handy. So what would you say are the modifications and the features that you've done to this that have been the most useful?
Yeah, it's just a couple things. And so you can't really tell. I keep all my gears really modular. I keep it in alu boxes in the back here. So I've got, kitchen boxes, I've got tool boxes, power tool boxes, you name it. In terms of modifications to the vehicle specifically, I think the winch and then carrying max tracks has been the most useful. Because again, when my buddies get stuck, I'm yanking them out with the winch. When my buddies get stuck, they're using my max tracks. But I mean, having triple lock from the factory, no brainer, right? I will never not have that in a new vehicle. Again, the fridge has been really killer. But in terms of bringing too much gear, man, and we were just laughing a minute ago, I'm the only one on this trek with a chainsaw.
Yeah.
Right? So everyone's like, oh, you bring too much gear, Nick, until they need my gear.
Yeah, we're definitely going to bust out that chainsaw.
Yeah. And cut down some we're not cutting down trees, but there's already a tree falling. We'll just chop it up for fire. So, yeah.
No, this is a way cool setup, man.
Thank you.
All in, how much purchase price and then modifying it, how much do you think you've put into it, if you don't mind saying?
Sticker with this vehicle was about 55 and change, and then gosh, I'd say with parts and labor, because I don't have the time or skill to do all of it. I've done some of it, like I did the bumper and the winch and things like that.
Right.
I've bolted those up, but with all the electronic stuff, I don't do that. So probably 45 grand and change, maybe 40 grand.
Okay.
So like I joke, I bought my Gladiator a Gladiator.
Yeah.
So.
Well, it's turned out into a really cool rig, and actually you're selling this soon at Overland Expo, right?
Yeah, I'll be listing it. I'm going to be listing it for 75 or best offer.
There you go.
And you can't get one of these very quickly from dealers, and then you can't get all these parts because of part supply shortages.
Yeah.
And then paying somebody to pull them, put them all in. You'd probably be waiting 6 months and probably 100 grand to build this vehicle today. So I think it's a pretty good deal.
Nick, I appreciate you walking us around your vehicle. It's a super
pleasure.
cool rig.
Yeah, thanks. It's been a hobby and a passion and a good way to sink my money. So thank you for putting the attention on. I appreciate it.